One of the most beautiful books of the New Testament is the book of Hebrews. The reason why it's so beautiful is it actually interprets the Old Testament for us in very brief form. It takes a lot of the sacrificial system, a lot of those Old Testament laws, and reveals how those were foreshadowing Christ. And then it expounds Christ as the fulfillment of what was promised. But then it goes beyond the old covenant of the law, whereby Israel was blessed according to her obedience and disciplined according to her disobedience. And it presents Christ as the one who obeyed the Old Testament law and is the bringer of the new covenant promises. Jesus is the one who fulfilled the old covenant, and Jesus is the one who pours out on us the new covenant promises. Now, the new covenant is actually present in infant form, even in the old covenant. All through the Old Testament and in Hebrews as well, the author points this out. God says, I will be your God, and you will be my people. Now, Israel, of course, made the mistake of thinking that that promise was given to a nation. But the promise was only given to the believers within the nation. And even today in the church, that promise isn't automatically experienced by anybody that goes to church. That promise of the new covenant is experienced by those in the church who transfer trust from themselves to Jesus. And the new covenant is that Jesus writes the law on our hearts. He actually grants us a love for the Father, a love for the Trinity itself. The book of Hebrews says that the Christian life is supernatural. The Christian life is not a philosophy of life. It's not learning certain concepts or merely following certain commands. The Christian life is a supernatural transformation that occurs as the living Christ sends his Spirit into our hearts and changes everything about us. That is why we say at Oak Mountain, if someone's truly a Christian, their life has to change. It can't be, well, I follow Jesus, but I just live however I like. That is new covenant impossibility. Because part of the new covenant is we have a new heart and a new spirit. So again, rejoice in the power and grace of the new covenant and the Jesus who writes the love of the Father for us on our hearts and motivates the love of our lives for him.